I never planned on working at Domino's forever. When I got hired at the Domino's on West Madison Street in Chicago, Illinois, it was supposed to be a short-term job, just something to pay rent while I figured out what to do next. That was 2 years ago. Now I was shift lead, working late nights and dealing with everything from rude customers to broken ovens. Friday nights were always the worst. We were understaffed. The phones wouldn't stop ringing and half our orders were already running late. My manager, Denise, was stuck handling a customer complaint, leaving me alone to prep pizzas in the back. I was tossing dough when I noticed something weird out of the corner of my eye. A guy in a Domino's uniform. He was wearing the standard blue work shirt, black pants, and even had a name tag pinned to his chest. He moved around the kitchen like he belonged, grabbing a tray and pretending to check an order. I frowned. I had never seen him before. "Hey, you new?" I asked, wiping my hands on my apron. He turned to me and smiled, too wide, like he was trying, too hard. "Yeah, first day." That was strange. We hadn't hired anyone new. I had just checked the schedule earlier and there weren't any new names. I walked over to Denise, who was still on the phone. "Hey, did we hire a new guy?" She gave me a confused look. "No, why?" I turned back toward the prep area. But he was gone. I felt a cold prickle on the back of my neck. He had been right there. The store wasn't big and the only exits were the front door and the back delivery entrance. There was no way he had just disappeared. "Hold on," I told Denise, already heading toward the security monitor in the office. I pulled up the cameras, scanning through the footage. There he was. The mystery employee was walking around the kitchen, blending in like he had been working here for years. He wasn't just standing around, he was actually pretending to work. He grabbed a pizza cutter, wiped down a counter, and even rearranged some boxes. Denise leaned over my shoulder. "Who the hell is that?" "I don't know," I muttered. We kept watching. At 9:50 p.m., the man walked toward the back exit, but he didn't rush. He didn't sneak. He just walked out like he had finished his shift. No one questioned him. No one even noticed. Denise clicked her tongue. "We need to figure out who this guy is." I zoomed in on his name tag. Jason, assistant manager. My stomach dropped. "Denise," I whispered, "check the system. See if we've ever had a Jason work here." She hesitated, then turned to the employee records. After a minute, her face went pale. "Jason did work here," she said, "but 5 years ago." Denise clicked on Jason's employee file. I leaned in, scanning the screen. "Fired in 2018, she read aloud. "Reason, inappropriate conduct and harassment." I stared at her. "Harassment?" She clicked another tab. There it was, the report. Jason had been fired for stalking one of our old employees, a delivery driver named Mia. He had followed her home, left notes on her car, and even showed up at her apartment uninvited. She eventually called the police, and Jason was let go. But he was never arrested. I swallowed hard. Why would he come back now after 5 years? Denise didn't answer. We checked the cameras again. We followed his movements from the moment he stepped into the store. He never touched the register, never stole anything. He just walked around, like he was remembering the place, like he was getting comfortable. Denise was already calling the police, explaining the situation, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I rewound the footage, watching Jason again. He wasn't looking at the ovens. He wasn't watching the pizza prep. He was watching us. Every time Denise walked by, he turned his head slightly. When I grabbed a box, his gaze followed my hands. Then right before he left, he did something that made my blood run cold. He walked to the schedule board, stood there for a few seconds, and then reached up and ran his finger down the list of names, like he was memorizing them. The next shift schedule, who would be working, who would be closing alone. I pushed away from the desk. "We need to lock up, now." Denise nodded. "I'll get the deadbolts, we're not staying late tonight." We did a full sweep of the store. We checked the bathrooms, the supply closet, even the dumpster area out back. Jason was long gone, but the feeling that he had been here, that he wasn't done yet, stayed with me. The cops arrived a few minutes later, took our statements, and checked the footage. But they told us the same thing we already knew. Jason hadn't broken in, hadn't stolen anything. Technically, he hadn't even done anything illegal. He had just walked in and pretended he still worked there. I didn't sleep that night. I kept checking my phone, half expecting a call from Denise saying he had come back. The next day I showed up early, stomach twisted in knots. The store looked normal, until I walked to the back door. Taped to the outside was a piece of paper. It was a Domino's job application. And written across the top in thick black marker was a single sentence: "I'm ready to come back." I stepped back, heart pounding. Jason wasn't done. He was waiting, watching, and one day he was going to walk through that door again. When I took the job at Domino's on West Broad Street in Columbus, Ohio, it wasn't supposed to be permanent. I had dropped out of Ohio State after a year and needed cash, and pizza delivery seems easy enough. 2 years later, I was still working. The late shifts, closing the store at midnight, going home to my tiny one-bedroom apartment in Franklinton, and repeating the process the next day. Most nights it was fine. Closing meant fewer customers, less stress, and I liked the quiet. The only downside was the occasional drunk or sketchy customer who wandered in from the liquor store next door. But in 2 years, nothing truly bad had happened. That Thursday night started like any other. Lisa, my only co-worker, had been nursing, a migraine all shift. By 11:30 p.m., she was pale and barely speaking. "You good to close alone?" she asked, grabbing her purse from under the counter. "Yeah, I got it," I told her. By 11:45, I was alone, wiping down the counters, waiting for midnight. I had my phone propped up against the register, playing a true crime podcast, more for background noise than anything else. That's when the bell above the door chimed. I looked up. A man walked in, thin, mid-40s, wearing a gray hoodie with the hood pulled low. His jeans were too loose, his shoes scuffed. He didn't walk toward the counter. Instead, he drifted toward the seating area, sliding into a booth without a word. I wasn't alarmed at first. Late-night customers were usually either half asleep or too drunk to function. "Sir, we're closing in 15 minutes, I called. No response. At 11:55, I gave the final closing announcement. "Attention customers, we're closing in 5 minutes. If you need anything, please order now." Silence. I stepped out from behind the counter. The booth was empty, but the bell hadn't chimed again. He never left. Then, from the back of the store, I heard it, a rustling sound from the storage room. A cold feeling crawled down my spine. The storage room was at the very back of the store, past the kitchen and near the rear exit. Customers weren't allowed back there. I tightened my grip on my phone and took a step closer. "Sir?" I called again, forcing my voice to sound firm. "We're closed. You can't be back there." No response. I hesitated. I could just lock up and leave. But what if he was just some homeless guy looking for a place to sleep? I'd seen it before, people sneaking into gas stations and laundromats to get out of the cold. I walked toward the back, my sneakers squeaking against the tile. The storage room door was open just a crack. I pushed it open. The room was empty. The shelves were untouched, the stacks of pizza boxes exactly where they should be. I exhaled, shaking my head at myself. I was letting exhaustion and paranoia get to me. I turned back toward the front and froze. A slow creak. The storage room door was moving, closing. I hadn't touched it. A shadow shifted behind it, and through the gap, I saw it, his eye staring right at me. I didn't think. I ran, full sprint toward the front of the store. My shoes slipped on the tile, my breath coming in ragged gasps. Behind me, footsteps. Slow, heavy, deliberate. My fingers fumbled with my keyring as I reached the door. The lock wouldn't turn fast enough. A noise too close behind me. A deep, ragged exhale. The lock finally gave, and I threw myself outside, sprinting across the dimly lit parking lot. I reached my car, yanking at the door handle. Locked. Shit. Shit. I spun around, expecting to see him right behind me. Nothing. The parking lot was empty. The store's front windows were dark, the seating area deserted. But he had been right there. I had heard him breathing. Heart hammering, I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? I was closing my store. Some guy, he was hiding in the back. He chased me. Are you in a safe location? I wasn't sure how to answer that. Then I saw it. Through the front window of the store, just visible past the counter, a gray hoodie, neatly folded on the storage room floor, like he had never been wearing it at all. The Columbus police arrived within minutes, their cruisers pulling into the lot with flashing lights. 2 officers stepped out, hands resting near, their holsters. "You're the one who called?" one of them asked, shining a flashlight at me. I nodded, still breathless. "Yeah. Some guy came in before closing. I thought he left, but he was hiding in the back." The officers exchanged a look before nodding toward the store. "Stay here." They entered the store, guns drawn. I wrapped my arms around myself, watching through the glass. They searched everything. The front, the kitchen, the break room, even the freezer. Nothing, no sign of him. The only thing out of place? The hoodie folded neatly on the storage room floor. "Are you sure you saw someone?" one officer asked. I wanted to say yes, but the more I thought about it, the more I doubted myself. I had seen the eye. I had heard the footsteps. But if he had been there, where did he go? They took my statement and told me to call if anything strange happened again, but I could tell they didn't really believe me. Maybe they thought I was tired, jumpy, imagining things. I took the next few days off, too freaked out to go back. But when I finally returned, the store looked normal, like nothing had ever happened. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling. Late at night, when I was alone in the store, I'd feel it, a presence. Sometimes I'd catch movement out of the corner of my eye, a flicker of gray disappearing around a corner. Or I'd hear it, the faintest rustling from the storage room. But when I checked, nothing. I never saw him again, but I know he's still there, watching, waiting. When Ava and I graduated from the University of Cincinnati, we thought we had life figured out. We had degrees, a small apartment on Vine Street, and big plans. But the job market had other ideas. After 3 months of rejections, we had bills, piling up and no way to pay them. That's how we ended up at Domino's on Glenway Avenue. It wasn't glamorous, but it was work. Ava took the register handling customers while I got a job as a delivery driver. It wasn't so bad. Decent tips, free food, and a flexible schedule. At first, everything was fine. The staff was friendly, and the work was simple. But the manager, Jeff, was a little weird about company history. One night, he was training us and said, "This store's been here a long time. We've had some incidents, but nothing to worry about." I laughed. "What kind of incidents?" He gave me a long look. "Just focus on the job, kid." Ava and I shrugged it off. Weird managers were part of the job. For the first few weeks, things were normal. Until the night I closed alone. It was a Thursday night and the store was dead by 10:30. Ava had gone home early and Jeff had left me to finish the last deliveries. By 11:45, I was the only one there, wiping down the counter and waiting for the clock to hit midnight. Then the doorbell chimed. I looked up, surprised. No orders had come in. An old man stood in the doorway. He wore a Domino's uniform, blue shirt, black pants, name tag slightly faded. His white hair was neatly combed and he had an odd, almost too wide smile. "You new here?" he asked. Yeah," I said. "Been here about a month." He nodded. "I used to work here." I glanced around, unsure what to say. He didn't look homeless, but something about him felt off. "Cool," I said. "When was that?" The man's smile widened. "A long time ago." Then he reached into his pocket. My stomach tightened. I took a step back, one hand drifting toward my phone. The man noticed and chuckled. Nervous? Just wondering what you're doing here, I said carefully. He pulled something out of his pocket, an old crumpled piece of paper. He smoothed it out on the counter. I looked down. It was Domino's schedule. From 20 years ago. I scanned the names. The last one at the bottom, Ryan Phillips, delivery driver. My name. My whole body went cold. Where did you get this? The man tilted his head. It was mine. I worked your job before you did. I swallowed hard. And what happened? His eyes darkened. I was let go. The way he said it made my skin crawl. You took my job, he whispered. Then, in the blink of an eye, he was gone. I didn't hear the door chime, didn't hear footsteps. I turned in a panic, scanning the parking lot. Nothing. Just my car. Empty streets. Silence. I locked up in a hurry and drove home, hands shaking. When I walked in, Ava looked up from the couch. You okay? I hesitated, then told her everything. She frowned. Wait, did Jeff ever say what incidents happened at the store? I shook my head. He just acted weird about it. Ava grabbed her laptop. Let's find out. We searched old news articles, digging through anything related to our store. It took an hour, but we finally found something. In 2003, a Domino's delivery driver named Ryan Phillips went missing after his shift. I felt sick. No way, it's just a coincidence. Ava scrolled down. His last known location was our store. My blood ran cold. She clicked on an old employee photo. It was the man from the store. The next day, I went straight to Jeff. Who was Ryan Phillips? I demanded. His face went pale. Where did you hear that name? I told him everything. The man in the uniform, the schedule, the old article. Jeff sighed, rubbing his temples. I didn't want to freak you guys out. But yeah, Ryan Phillips worked here. One night he clocked out and was never seen again. His car was still in the lot. The cops searched for months, but nothing. I swallowed hard. I saw him. Jeff's expression darkened. You mean you saw someone? No, Jeff. It was him. He stared at me for a long moment, then whispered, That's not possible. I quit a week later. Ava did too. We never went back. But sometimes when I pass that Domino's, I swear I see a figure standing by the door, wearing a uniform, smiling too wide, waiting for someone to take his job again. Working the late shift at Domino's on North Lamar Boulevard in Austin, Texas wasn't my dream job, but it paid the bills. I liked the night shifts, better tips, fewer customers, and less traffic. It wasn't exactly exciting, but it was predictable. Until that one night when I realized just how dangerous my routine had become. It was a slow Tuesday night, and by 11:30 p.m., I was already thinking about heading home. Then my manager, Mike, walked up to the counter with a familiar look, the one that meant bad news. Jamie called in last minute. Can you take this last run? I sighed and checked the screen. A single large pepperoni pizza already paid for, going to an apartment complex about 10 minutes away. Yeah, I got it, I said, grabbing the pizza from the warmer. Outside, the parking lot was nearly empty. My black Honda Accord was parked near the side entrance, right where I always left it. I unlocked the doors, slid into the driver's seat, and started the car. The roads were quiet, the streetlights casting long shadows across the pavement. I turned on the radio, keeping the volume low. Just another quick run, and then I'd be home. Everything seemed normal, until I heard it, a faint rustling from the back seat. I froze. My grip tightened on the steering wheel. The noise had been soft, like fabric shifting, or someone trying not to move. I swallowed hard and adjusted my rearview mirror. Nothing. Just the dark outline of my backseat, the pizza bag where I had tossed it. I exhaled, feeling stupid. I was just tired. My mind was playing tricks on me. Then I stopped at a red light and glanced back again, and saw a shadow shift behind my seat. A jolt of terror shot through me. I whipped my head around, heart hammering. Someone was in my car. My fingers shook as I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? I kept my voice low, barely a whisper. There's someone in my car. Where are you located? I quickly glanced at the street sign. Heading south on Lamar near 45th Street. I don't know how he got in. Stay on the line, keep driving, don't stop. My pulse pounded in my ears. Had I left my car unlocked? I always locked it, but tonight in my rush had I forgotten? Then I heard it. Slow, raspy breathing, right behind my ear. The dispatcher's voice broke through my panic. Sir, do not engage. Officers are on their way, just keep moving. I wanted to slam the brakes, to jump out and run, but something told me if I stopped now, it would be worse. Then in the silence, I heard something even worse. A metallic click. A knife. Adrenaline surged through me. At the next red light, I slammed the brakes as hard as I could. A body lurched forward, slamming into the back of my seat, then hitting the dashboard with a sickening thud. I didn't hesitate. I threw open my door and ran. I sprinted into the nearest gas station parking lot, still clutching my phone. He's in my car, I shouted. He has a knife. The cashier behind the counter looked up, wide-eyed, and reached for the store phone. Then I heard it, my car door opening. I turned just in time to see him stumble out of the passenger seat. Tall, thin, dressed in all black, and in his right hand, a knife glinting under the fluorescent lights. But something was off. He wasn't attacking. He looked dazed. Before he could regain his balance, red and blue lights flashed across the lot. A police cruiser screeched to a stop and 2 officers jumped out, guns drawn. "Drop the weapon," one of them shouted. The man didn't resist. He just stood there, swaying slightly, knife still in his grip. His hood had fallen back, revealing a gaunt, pale face, hollow eyes, and cracked lips. I backed away as the officers tackled him to the ground. One of them kicked the knife aside before cuffing him. I finally let out the breath I'd been holding. My entire body was shaking. The first officer turned to me. "Are you hurt?" I shook, my head still trying to process what just happened. I don't think so. They checked my car. The pizza bag was still there, untouched. But on the floor of the back seat, they found something else. A small black duffel bag. Inside, rope, duct tape, another knife. I felt my stomach turn. "He was waiting," one officer muttered, "planning something." They questioned me for nearly an hour. I told them everything, the delivery, the noise, the moment I realized I wasn't alone. "Do you recognize him?" one officer asked. I shook my head. Never seen him before. They ran his ID. No wallet, no phone. Just a name scribbled on a crumpled receipt in his pocket. Matthew R. Collins. No known address, no criminal record, just nobody. "Looks like he was watching the store," one officer said, waiting for someone to leave their car unlocked. I wanted to throw up. The worst part? It could have been anyone. Jamie was supposed to take that delivery. If she hadn't called out, it wouldn't have been me. I drove home that night in silence. The next morning, I bought new locks for my apartment, and I never left my car unlocked again.